Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. We're so glad that you're here. What we've been doing over the past couple of weeks is we've been trying to do some plant reviews with some annuals that we've had experience growing over the past couple seasons that have done exceptionally well for us, so that this way, if you see them in your local garden center, then you may want to give them a try as they have done exceptionally well in our garden. Speaking of exceptional, this beautiful annual here that Ella planted last season in this self-watering pot here that is like sitting basically on the left corner of our air conditioning unit, hiding it beautifully. You wouldn't even tell that there was something back here. This is so much better to look at. It is Superbena Peachy Keen. Now, if you remember correctly, if you've seen that video, Ella planted two of these plants along with sky blue lobelia. And the thing with sky blue lobelia, it's a great annual, but sometimes with the heat, it can fizzle out, especially if you forget to water them or they run dry. They don't bounce back very well. Not the case with this Peachy Keen verbena, Superbena Peachy Keen, I should say, from Proven Winners. It is wonderfully hardy, and this is the beginning of April, and it's just totally going nuts again. I don't know if you can see this, but here on the top, it's kind of started at the bottom and it's working its way up in its bloom cycle. Before long, there's going to be blooms all the way up here, and it's going to just be a solid, beautiful orange color. Which looks really nice against our house. It's a great contrast, and it looks great with yellow and purple, which, by the way, we've been doing that theme in our backyard with yellows, purples, and oranges. And now all three of those colors look great together. But anyways, a really quick little story about how easy this annual is to grow. She planted this. She used a little bit of the slow release fertilizer from Proven Winners. She put that in the bottom there. And then after that, we just came in once a week last season and fertilized this plant with the water soluble Proven Winners fertilizer, and it did exceptional all year long, actually. So this is almost coming up to a whole year of having this planted, and as you can tell, I haven't done any trimming. It's probably trailing about, I don't know, about 1.5 feet, almost 2 feet from the top where it's planted to down here, probably about 2 feet. And it's full of blooms, like I was saying. There was a time in January where I thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and cut that back and see if we can get it to bounce back, and maybe that'll stimulate growth. Didn't need to do that at all because it took off like you would not believe. Um, I have seen a couple things that you may want to be aware of. These plants do not get budworms like Calibrachoa superbells or petunias. In our case, super petunias, that's what we plant in our garden. They don't have those kind of pests, but they do sometimes suffer from whiteflies, and those can be easily taken care of by spraying this with Rose RX. That seems to take care of it. And also, I've also mixed a concoction of water, baking soda, and a little bit of dishwashing detergent in a bottle. You can look that up online. I'm sure you'll find a great recipe for doing that. That's what I did. I just looked up, something that I could put in a spray bottle. I've used that, and that's, it's non-toxic and it doesn't hurt any beneficial insects or animals. And it takes care of the whitefly immediately because they do not like being in a wet environment. They thrive over dryness. And so if it's completely dry, or if your plant gets stressed because it's underwatered, you can find that you could be prone to whiteflies, but that seems to take care of it. And that really is the only pest that I've had to deal with right now. This is completely clear of that. It hasn't had any problems with that at all. After this bloom cycle, I may trim it, I may not, but look at that. It's just super amazing how this has grown. And this is just basically a self-watering container that it's taken complete over, and hanging down this little trellis that I have here hiding our unsightly air conditioner. It's a definite upgrade. But anyways, I just wanted to share with you how amazing this annual is, and it's great also to mix in with hanging baskets or other arrangements in a container. I've grown verbena in the landscape as well, and it's equally as amazing as it is in a container. It does great in both applications. I don't think they're as food hungry as petunias or calibrachoas. I haven't noticed that, but they do benefit when you do take care of them and give them the extra nutrients. They stay nice and green, and they just bloom like this all season long, and it was like nonstop all summer last season, even into the fall. It did lull a little bit in December and in January where we didn't have hardly any blooms on here, and that's when I thought I was going to cut it back. But then all of a sudden I noticed all these little bloom heads developing all over the place, and I thought to myself, probably need to wait a little bit because it's probably going to look amazing here in a short while. They do extremely well through once they get established with low water. They don't like to be completely soaked, but they like to have it kind of balanced. That's why this self-watering container works so well. And as you can tell, this color, I mean, I'll give you a close-up of that, is just absolutely beautiful. It opens up kind of a dark coral orange color, and then eventually lightens up over time as they open into kind of like a salmony orange. And if you have a bloom that's been opening over time, you could have like two different colors on one bloom head, which is really cool. It gives you a nice little contrast. And as you can tell with all of our yellow that we have here behind me, I have my violas down here in the landscape, and then my superbells up here in my hanging basket, which is like a hay rack off the window right here, that's a whole nother thing. That's absolutely amazing how that's done, especially since this side of the house is on the east side of the house. It hasn't had very much sun until recently because the sun is gradually going to be more straight up and down, and it will get more sunlight. That's the same thing with this, and look at how both of these things look this time of year, which is amazing. So if you see this, you may want to grab it, scoop it up at your local garden center, and try it in an arrangement. Looks beautiful with purple. This would also be beautiful with white, yellow. They do grow really well. Like if you want to put another plant in your arrangement, they do grow really well with superbells. They kind of like grow at the same speed. One doesn't take over the other. The hanging basket that I planted a couple actually last season with the discounted items from Lowe's, it did really well with all the other superbells, and that didn't take over. One didn't take over the other, which is important when you're putting an arrangement together, because you want to have those things all shine in your arrangement so you can see all of their beauty. The only thing with the lobelia that was in here, it just fizzled out on its own. But in the meantime, look at this. This is amazing. So anyways, if you want to try this one out, I would definitely do so. Remember, Superbena Peachy Keen from Proven Winners, another amazing winner in my book. So thank you guys so much for being here today. We really appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for those nice comments again. And we will see you in the next video. Hopefully I'll have a garden tour coming out very soon before I plant my spring annuals. So in the meantime, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.